On a typical day, hundreds of people line up to get their homemade breakfast, lunch, or dinner fix at the Frontier Restaurant and at Golden Pride. After 50 years, these restaurants have become staples in the city of Albuquerque by consistently delivering craveable, delicious, homemade food quickly and at reasonable prices. This is the story of how Larry and Dorothy Rainosek have built their restaurants into Albuquerque institutions through hard work, innovation, and serving their customers, employees, and the community with love and respect.
I grew up on a dairy farm. It was a small one, but the job was to keep the cows milked, and so working 7 days a week was a way of life. So when I graduated from high school, I left for Austin, Texas, and started working for a fast food restaurant called the Holiday House. Management opened up quite quickly for me, and so I became a night manager in 3 or 4 months. Had a good mentor there that taught me how to deal with people, and so that's what started the food service career for me.
When my uncle opened a restaurant, he asked my dad if I could work there, and my dad said sure. So at 13, I became a waitress. Several years later, I started working at a restaurant in the university area that my dad knew the managers of. And it just happened that Larry came in and he asked for my phone number, but my dad didn't want me dating older men at that time. He was persistent. My dad finally said, okay. I went on to the University of Texas and he went into the military. And then when he got out, we still liked each other. And it wasn't long before we married and had 2 terrific children, Mark and Shannon. We got to know the owners of the restaurant across from the University of Texas. And so we'd become friends, and they were on their way to Taos. Bob happened to see this whole building was for sale or lease. So he called Larry about putting in a restaurant because he knew we were looking for a place in Austin. We decided, yes, we would make a big venture and move here to open our own business.
We ended up getting it opened by February 10th in '71. It was just she and I and one other employee that we brought with us from Texas. And we opened at 6 and closed at 5 and closed on Sunday, and of course didn't do a lot of business. In May, we decided that this wasn't working and we're gonna have to open up on Sunday and also till midnight. I was opening the store and closing the store, going home and taking a nap in the afternoon, and it was not the best time of our lives. Fortunately, my brother Dennis was able to work the summer as our first night manager, and we were able to hire Pete Villegas. Pete became our night manager and worked up to general manager until his retirement after 50 years. We had to get enough volume into the store so that we could meet our expenses, and we accomplished that by June. We now knew that we were going to be able to make a living in Albuquerque. A friend of ours bought a building out on West Central. He said, I really need something in that building. So we said, okay, we'll go ahead and open up. At the time, we called it Golden Fried. Then we had an opportunity to open up another one on East Central. Then we located another store in El Dorado Square. Then along came Lomas. So all of a sudden we have 4 Golden Prides, and I just couldn't run all 4 of them. Fortunately, we had a really good employee at the time here at Frontier, Eddie Montoya. He's one of those people that just helped us in any way he could. We said, gee, Eddie, would you take on the Golden Fried at West Central? And he was good wherever we put him.
Both the Frontier and Golden Pride would not be the success stories that they are without their craveably delicious homemade food. Some of Frontier's signature items include all of their New Mexican dishes, made of course with New Mexico red and green chili, the Frontier Sweet Roll, their famously fresh-squeezed orange juice, and American comfort food. The Golden Prides are known for their breakfast burritos, fried chicken, and barbecue. Both restaurants are renowned for their fresh-made tortillas.
People start asking for green chili. Well, we didn't have green chili because Texas didn't have green chili, and there we had a chili con carne for our Fiesta burger, so that's what we had here.
I told her, you gotta have green chili if you're gonna be here in New Mexico. I'll bring you some green chili, and I'll be the first to admit it if you don't like it. I went and bought 15 sacks of green chili, and I borrowed 3 grills to roast it. So we roasted it all night, and Larry got hooked on it. So that's how the green chili started. I mean, the green chili is a humongous part of our business now.
That's how we got into the first phase of the New Mexican food. And so we said, well, we need to jazz up our breakfast. And so I had remembered the salsa that I had eaten in Texas. And so from memory, we started trying to duplicate that flavor, the onions and jalapenos and tomatoes and spices. And we'll say, well, since we're in New Mexico, we need to put a bunch of green chili in it. So we added a bunch of green chili, but didn't take the jalapenos out. And people really liked it. Now we have 2 kettles of the salsa in the condiment area. People just ladle it on all types of food. We just couldn't quite make these stores really gel. So in the later 80s, we decided we needed to expand the menu. Eddie kept trying to convince us we really ought to get into the burrito business. And I was a little leery of it because, it was a lot of work to put in the burritos in all the Golden Prides.
So he bought me a little hot plate, and he said, we'll see if you can do something with that. So I made some holes in the company van and put a sign on with an arrow, open for breakfast. I think we did $17 the first day. And we just kept at it, and well, it took off. And the breakfast is really what took us over the top.
People would comment to us, even if they're gone for a while, they come back and they get the food that it tastes like they remembered it.
Both the Frontier and Golden Pride are also known for continuing innovation and constant improvements that make their customer experiences as good as possible. For the Frontier, that includes purchasing nearby properties to expand their dining rooms, the kitchen, the commissary, warehouse, office space, and parking. They added the fresh squeeze orange juice in 1979, the tortilla making machine in 1989, and the digital display boards in 2000. For Golden Pride, they also improved the efficiency of their drive-thrus, which became especially important during the pandemic.
I've been here 42 years, and we've kind of grown up here at the restaurant. The building grew. We had to eventually move the roll production into another building. We have 2 to 3 people working over there all the time, where it used to be one guy doing all the rolls. When something comes up, we try to adapt as much as possible, especially as far as our business minds and what we do on a daily basis.
It's just been a team effort all the way around with everybody involved to make it happen. It didn't happen overnight. We still look at things on how to improve even where we're at right now.
Larry's basically raised his management team, and he's taught all of these things to us that we have absorbed into our everyday lives here at the Frontier.
The biggest thing that's kept me up to this day is Larry and Dorothy. They've just been super people to work with, always looking out for their employees. They've never changed. From day one, they're still the same. Quite a few years ago, Dorothy started what's called the Rolex Watch Club.
If someone stays for 20 years, I decided to give them a party recognizing their 20 years and a Rolex watch. To date, it's over 40 employees.
The Frontier family is all of us making it work. I just got lucky stumbling onto this place in college.
Larry and Dorothy are great believers in giving back to the community that has been so good to them. They have sponsored dozens of University of New Mexico presidential and athletic scholarships and contributed substantially to athletic and academic programs. The Rainoseks are honorary UNM alumni, honorary lettermen, members of the President's Club, the Popejoy Society, and at the 2014 commencement ceremony, they were each awarded the prestigious degree of Honorary Doctor of Humane Letters. They're also generous and active supporters of Catholic education and of the Albuquerque arts community, both performing and visual. The works of local and regional artists that adorn the walls of Frontier and Golden Pride are a much noted and unique attraction in themselves.
We feel like this has been a life's work for us. And when you see that a lot of people enjoy what you do, we find that there's the satisfaction of doing something well.
We've just been very blessed. We came from very humble beginnings, and we've had a great run, and it's just been so rewarding. And I appreciate all of our customers and especially our teams of employees. We have so many that we couldn't have done it without. We are also very thankful that our children, Shannon and Mark, are involved in the businesses and will continue the legacy of Frontier and Golden Pride.
So, if you're hungry for delicious, home-cooked food at an affordable price, served with a generous side of Albuquerque history and culture, come and visit the Frontier at Central and Cornell, right across from UNM, or the Golden Pride nearest you.